Silence can be louder than screaming. Not the quiet of a sleeping house, the kind where your 2-year-old doesn't respond when you call his name. Katie would whisper it anyway. Carl. Nothing. No eye contact, no smile, no mama. And that's when fear stops being a thought and starts becoming a future. Carl was 18 months old, beautiful, bright eyes, soft curls, but he didn't point, didn't wave, didn't imitate. At playgroups, toddlers ran toward their mothers. Carl sat alone, spinning the same toy wheel over and over and over. It's because he's an only child. Boys are slower. He'll grow out of it. Katie nodded. Bobby agreed. But at night, Katie stayed awake, watching milestone videos, comparing, counting, waiting. When Carl turned 2, nothing changed. Still no words, still no response to his name. At the health visitor appointment, the room felt too small. After observing Carl, she said gently, "I'm going to refer him to a pediatric doctor." That sentence split their world, before and after. And suddenly, time mattered. Because early intervention mattered, because delay mattered, because the longer they waited, the harder it could become. The clock was ticking. Appointments, assessments, waiting lists. Katie resigned from her job, not because she wanted to, because Carl needed someone who understood him. Bobby worked as a software developer. At work, problems had logic. You debugged, you tested, you solved. At home, there was no clear code. Meltdowns in supermarkets, screaming when routines changed, sleepless nights. Bobby tried to fix it, raise his voice, change strategies, push structure. It made things worse. When the diagnosis came, autism spectrum disorder, Katie nodded calmly. Bobby felt something collapse inside him. He didn't cry in the room. He cried in the car, because he thought autism meant limits. He didn't yet know it meant a different operating system, a place that understood structure, routine, patience. Katie didn't just stay home, she trained. Speech and language therapy, sensory integration, sleep training, behavior management. She learned PECS. Carl couldn't speak, so he handed her pictures, juice, snack, outside. Every small exchange felt monumental, but progress was slow, painfully slow, and sometimes Katie wondered if he would ever say her name. Carl was almost 5. Other children his age were telling stories, singing songs, asking questions. Carl still struggled to form words. One night, after a meltdown that lasted over an hour, Bobby sat on the kitchen floor, head in his hands. "I don't know how to reach him," he whispered. Katie stood there, exhausted. She didn't say it out loud, but she wondered, will he ever speak? Will he ever call me Mum? The house felt heavy. And then it happened. An ordinary afternoon, Katie in the kitchen, routine lunch, and then pasta. She froze. She didn't breathe. She turned slowly. Carl looked at her. Pasta. Clear, intentional. The silence that once terrified her had just broken. She made pasta immediately, because when your child speaks after years of silence, you don't hesitate. Soon it became more pasta,
Want more pasta?
then
Okay,
want more
sweetie,
pasta,
I'll get you some.
then full sentences. Bobby stood in the hallway listening one night. His son had found his voice, but something else happened too. Growth became contagious. While Carl was learning to speak, Katie was learning too. Late nights weren't just about therapy anymore. They became study sessions, AI tools, image creation, video editing. The same mother who once searched symptoms at 2 a.m. was now building digital worlds. And Bobby? He stopped trying to fix Carl and started studying him, Patterns, systems, strengths. High school came. Carl's interest in software deepened. He wanted to build games, not just play them. Bobby saw it immediately because he understood that language. He registered Carl in coding classes. Father and son began building together, side by side. No frustration, just collaboration. For the first time, Bobby didn't feel helpless. He felt connected. College came with one-to-one support. Carl learned differently, but he learned deeply. Then came the opportunity, an apprenticeship in software development. Carl applied. He was accepted. He worked quietly, focused deeply, built carefully. When the program ended, the company retained him. Carl became a software developer. The boy who once couldn't say "mama" now writes languages machines understand. One evening, all three of them were in the living room. Carl sat at his computer, code glowing across the screen. Katie on her laptop editing a video project. Bobby is reviewing software architecture plans. The house was quiet again, but not the heavy kind, the peaceful kind. Bobby looked at Carl and finally understood. Autism wasn't a bug in the system. It was a different system entirely. And Carl? He hadn't missed milestones. He built new ones. The word pasta wasn't just food. It was a beginning. Some children don't follow the timeline. They redesign it. And some parents don't get the life they imagined. They get something greater, a different kind of brilliance. And that changes everything.